Millions around the world have been forced into isolation as governments try and protect the most vulnerable, the old and the sick, from COVID-19. But these lockdowns have exposed another category of vulnerable people to that which they fear the most: domestic abuse. Ibrahim reports on the women locked in with their abusers.
A desperate call for help.
Due to the coronavirus, from day one of being in home quarantine, I have faced violence and blackmail from my family to give them money.
Iman al-Khatib is a Jordanian single mother living with her family. She says that long-standing abuse by her mother and brother have gotten worse under COVID-19 restrictions.
I am being abused and terrorized. Today they were going to seriously injure me. Today I could have gotten killed. And when I tried to call the police, all of the lines were busy because of corona.
Iman's 18-minute-long live video on Facebook went viral overnight, prompting outrage. A local NGO moved her and her son to a temporary safe house. City Family Protective Services and the Ministry of Interior are now looking into her case. Jordan is among the countries that imposed a tough coronavirus curfew. The move forced many families into isolation together.
Because of the curfew, victims are also unable to mitigate and manage to avoid violence against them. In normal times, they would be able to go to school, to go to university, to go to work, to visit their families. So they have more freedom to get away from the violator.
It is not just Jordan that faces an increase of domestic violence under the restrictions. Activists in Brazil, Germany, and Italy have sounded the alarm. In China's Hubei province, the initial epicenter of the pandemic, reported cases of domestic violence in one county more than tripled during the lockdown, according to activists. The Catalan regional government said calls to its helpline rose by 20% in the first few days of the confinement period.
I am speaking out so that every woman in my situation speaks out. They should not be ashamed. I know there are many women in this situation.
She may be in safety now, but Iman hopes other women will reach out for help, despite the social stigma.
Let's reach out now to mental health expert and educator Elka Paul for more. Ms. Paul, welcome. On a practical level, what options do women really have to escape abuse in a time of lockdown?
First, I think it's really important, and thank you for having me today, it's really important to know that if you possibly can, maintain an order and a structure within your house so that you have a sense of control, because that will hopefully ease the situation and de-stress the whole situation a little bit. Second, it's really good to have a safety plan. So Google where the next shelter is, know where the next police station is, have your personal belongings packed, and for your kids as well, if you have to, in case you need to escape quickly, and have that memorized. Know that a lot of the helplines that we have are now offering chat rooms. So in case you cannot talk, you might be able to text for help. And these are the immediate the safety measures we put in place. And please do know you're not alone. We know you are inside your home, but out there people are there to help you in case you need help.
I'd like to talk a bit about governments now. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, for example, has asked governments to make prevention of violence against women a key part of their national strategies. Would you say governments are failing women facing abuse?
I wouldn't say they're failing. We need more funding in general for this topic. But at the moment, the situation is very dynamic. It's like with the other healthcare organizations, it's unfolding in front of our eyes, and we don't know what the peak will look like. We do know that we will have an increase of domestic violence across all lockdown countries. And we do know that governments talk to each other, and the EU, for example, is trying to get more funding together for that. And we're working together. And for example, there are more shelters in place. And I just urge every woman who needs to get out not to think about whether she will have a place. Just get out and get help, and we will get you to safety. And then we just have to play it by ear. The other thing that I really would like to turn to is to make sure that once this crisis is over, the mental health situation for a lot of women will be very dire. So we need to get more staffing in place now because it's needed, and more funding. Yes, that would be good.
You spoke about victims of abuse getting help and just getting out if the situation is so dire. I wonder if there is a role to play for ordinary people, for example, neighbors in an apartment block who hear of abuse next door.
Thank you so much for asking that. And I'd really like to point out that this is not just a social class issue. This is an issue that can be in every neighborhood and in every posh apartment building as well. So please do be vigilant. And if you hear something out of the ordinary, please do not hesitate and call the police. And if it's a false alarm, that doesn't matter. These women then feel that somebody is watching and somebody is there by their side. And do talk to your colleagues in online work about that. Do talk to your families about that. As more awareness we all can create, as more these women feel supported and as more these partners feel watched. And that's really what we are after. So, yeah, we can all do something.
Solidarity and support. Elke Paul, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.